Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are taking a really fascinating look at the literary origins of, well, the American boy, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
We're plunging into Mark Twain's world, sort of semi-autobiographical, as we unpack the narrative core of the adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, we're trying to cut through maybe some of the nostalgia
Mm-hmm.
and really see how Twain used this story of, mischief to analyze character,
It's that
hypocrisy.
big transition, right, from just being a kid pulling pranks to facing some serious moral tests.
Exactly. It's a kind of an investigation into what makes that Western American spirit tick. So our mission really is to pull out the key insights from Twain's own sources.
Okay.
Like how Tom's genius for getting out of things, his manipulation, actually becomes his commentary on work and play.
Right.
And how Twain just skewers the social institutions of his day. The church, the school.
Yeah, he doesn't hold back.
Not at all. And then that really abrupt, almost visceral shift when the fun and games stop and suddenly it's about, murder and real fear.
Okay, so let's unpack that setup. Looking at the foundations first. Twain was, well, he was pretty meticulous about establishing the reality behind the fiction, wasn't he?
Oh, definitely. He makes it super clear. The book is intended mainly for the entertainment of boys and girls, he says.
Right, that's the surface level.
But the content, he emphasizes, is drawn straight from his own environment, his own life.
He wasn't shy about admitting that, was he? Saying some incidents were from his experiences of my own, and others came from his schoolmates.
Precisely. But what I find really interesting is how he draws this line between the two main boys, Tom and Huck.
Ah, yeah, he separates them. Huckleberry Finn, he says flat out, is drawn from life. Like a real kid he knew. A literal portrait.
That's so critical, I think. Huck is the raw reality, isn't he? The genuine outcast.
Totally. But Tom Sawyer...
Tom's different. He's more constructed. Twain calls him a composite order of architecture.
I love that phrase, composite order of architecture. It sounds like Tom is this carefully built archetype, a blend of traits from 3 different boys Twain knew.
Exactly.
So why do that? Why make the hero a composite but keep the outcast Huck, rooted in just one real person? What do you think was going on there?
Well, I think it's because Tom's story, especially this early part, it isn't meant to be just grim reality. It's more romantic, satirical. It's looking at potential.
Okay.
Tom represents that average, mischievous, imaginative kid from that time and place, but sort of amplified, right?
Turned up to 11.
Yeah. By making him a composite, Twain can load him up with all of the traits he needs, the good and the bad, to really satirize the town effectively.
While Huck needs to be stark and real to be that foil, that measure of absolute freedom.
Precisely. Huck is the baseline of freedom against which you measure St. Petersburg's society. And Twain grounds it historically, too, doesn't he? He points out all those odd superstitions.
Oh, yeah, the warts and dead cat stuff.
Right. He says they were all prevalent among children and slaves in the West about 30 or 40 years before he wrote the book. So it's not just fantasy.
So the setting is key. St. Petersburg, Missouri, mid-19th century, small town on the Mississippi, seems tranquil, but maybe a bit stifling,
Right.
ripe for both adventure and satire.
Absolutely. Which brings us right to Tom's world and the people in it.
Yeah.
Starting with his guardian, Aunt Polly.
Aunt Polly. The emotional core, maybe, but also the main target or victim of Tom's schemes.
She really is. She's constantly pulled in these 2 directions, isn't she? There's her deep, genuine love for Tom.
You feel that.
But then there's this rigid sense of duty. She feels she has to discipline him. Or, as she puts it, I'll be the ruination of the child. It's that classic generational tension.
And Tom just plays on that, doesn't he? He knows her weak spots, her attempts at being strict. They almost always fell apart because she's got such a soft heart underneath.
Yeah, those attempts at dark and mysterious diplomacy, as Twain calls them, they just don't work on Tom.
Like the swimming incident. It's hilarious. You think she's being so clever.
Right. Sewing his collar shut with white thread, then asking these leading questions later, hoping he'll slip up.
And Tom's already 2 steps ahead, swapped it for black thread, makes her look, well, like she missed a trick, as Twain says.
And her actual punishments. They're almost symbolic, whacking him with a thimble.
Yeah, Tom's reaction is basically, who cares for that? It's nothing.
Exactly. He understands the limits of her power. He knows just how far he can push her before she gets her dander up.
But crucially, he figures out the ultimate escape hatch. Make her laugh. If he can do that, the punishment just evaporates.
Her vulnerability is his loophole. He exploits it constantly.
So to get Tom, we also need to see him against the others, like Sid.
Oh, Sid. The quiet menace. He's the good half-brother, never gets into trouble, no adventurous, troublesome ways, finishes his chores.
He's everything Aunt Polly wishes Tom was on the surface.
Right, but because he's so quiet, so observant, he's actually kind of dangerous in his own way, not through action, but through reporting.
Like later on when he notices Tom talking in his sleep about the murder.
Exactly. That quiet observation almost blows the whole secret wide open.
And then there's Jim, the small colored boy fetching water. Tom's first instinct is to exploit him, right? To get out of work.
Yeah, and that's where you see these social dynamics start to play out. Tom tries to bribe Jim with his worldly possessions.
Which are basically nothing, a white alley marble.
And showing him his sore toe, which apparently was a big deal among boys back then.
Huh. He tries to make doing the whitewashing seem like this amazing privilege Jim should pay for.
But Aunt Polly's onto him that time.
She anticipates it, comes out with a slipper, triumph in her eye, chases Jim off. A reminder that Tom isn't always going to win. Not yet, anyway.
Right. But before we get to the really big trick, the fence, there's that quick fight with the new kid, the stranger.
Oh, yeah. Classic Tom. Establishes dominance immediately.
It's pure Western standoff, isn't it? This finely dressed boy shows up. Tom takes instant offense. They trade these amazing insults.
They're calling him a smarty and a fighting liar.
Then Tom draws the line in the dust, literally, and boom, they're fighting. Tom just pummels him.
Until the kid cries, mainly from rage, Twain says. Not pain, rage.
And the stranger runs off like an antelope, but not before chucking a stone back. It shows Tom's nature perfectly. Okay. Seeks conflict, wins aggressively, doesn't back down. He demands respect.
Which leads us perfectly into the big one, the iconic scene, the fence painting trick. This is where Tom goes from just a prankster to, well, almost a philosopher. A psychological genius.
It really is a leap, isn't it? He's facing genuine despair here. It's Saturday, his holiday ruined. He has to whitewash this enormous fence, 30 yards long, 9 feet high.
And he hates work more than he hates anything else. He checks his pockets.
His worldly wealth, bits of toys, marbles, trash. Well, not enough to buy even half an hour of freedom, he figures. He's totally beat by the system. Obligation is crushing him.
And then the light bulb moment. The magnificent inspiration. He realizes he doesn't have to avoid the work. He has to change what the work means.
The timing is perfect. Ben Rogers shows up. Ben is the picture of the freedom Tom just lost. He's pretending to be a steamboat.
Doing the whole chow-chow-chow thing, the hand motions for the paddle wheel.
He's completely absorbed in play.
Yeah.
And Tom, he just pretends to be intensely focused on the whitewashing. Like it's not work at all, but this incredibly exclusive artistic act.
Making it look desirable. Scarce, even.
Totally. Ben comes over to mock him, but Tom makes the job seem so special that Ben is instantly hooked. Tom plays hard to get.
Yeah, the negotiation is brilliant. He holds back. Says Aunt Polly is really particular about this fence. Does a boy get a chance to whitewash a fence every day? He asks.
He even says, well, Jim wanted to do it, but she wouldn't let him. Sid wanted to. She wouldn't let Sid. He makes it sound like only he is skilled enough, trusted enough.
Boosting the perceived value like crazy.
So Ben offers the core of his apple. Tom resists. Ben offers the whole apple. Then eventually, Ben trades pretty much everything he owns, his kite, marbles, all sorts of stuff, just for the privilege of whitewashing.
And this is where Twain spells it out for us, right? The big aha moment. Tom discovers a great law of human action.
It's timeless, this insight. Twain lays it out. In order to make a man or a boy covet a thing, it is only necessary to make the thing difficult to attain. Simple as that.
It's scarcity, exclusivity, making something seem desirable because not everyone can have it. Tom's basically invented marketing here.
He absolutely has. He didn't just get the job done. He got paid for the privilege of letting others do the job.
And that leads to Twain's big definitions, doesn't it? Work versus play.
Yeah, this is fundamental. Work consists of whatever a body is obliged to do, and that play consists of whatever a body is not obliged to do. The obligation is the key.
So the activity itself doesn't matter. It's whether you have to do it or choose to do it.
Exactly. And Twain gives that great example.
Yeah.
Rich English guys paying loads of money to drive stagecoaches around as a hobby. That's play.
Right.
But Twain says if you offered them wages to do the exact same thing, it instantly becomes work, and they'd quit. The obligation kills the fun.
The result for Tom is just amazing. Mid-afternoon, the fence has 3 coats of whitewash. Tom is literally rolling in wealth. Marbles, a Jew's heart piece, a one-eyed kitten, a dog collar, but no dog.
All sorts of treasures. And he's had a nice, good idle time himself. If he hadn't run out of whitewash Twain jokes, he would have bankrupted every boy in the village.
His satisfaction isn't just getting out of work, it's realizing you can manipulate the whole system. Perception is everything.
Yeah, the world isn't fixed. You can reshape it if you're clever enough.
Okay, so from manipulating individuals, Twain then uses Tom to zoom out and satirize society itself, especially the church and the school. These scenes are just brutal.
They really are. Let's start with Sunday school. The whole setup exposes religion, or at least religious education, as this, like, transactional system.
Totally based on rewards. The setting is humble, right? Plain church, uncushioned pews.
But the focus is on getting tickets white, red, blue for reciting Bible verses. Collect enough, you trade them in.
For the grand prize, a Bible. 2,000 sheaves of scriptural wisdom.
And Tom, fresh off his fence success and loaded with loot, basically buys his way to glory.
He just trades his trinkets, licorice, fishhooks, marbles for enough tickets from the other kids. It's pure fraud.
Brilliant fraud, though. He wins the prize, gets all this admiration. The superintendent, Mr. Walters, is completely bowled over. He starts this over-the-top speech, this gush.
Praising Tom, praising Sunday school. But Twain undercuts it immediately, doesn't he? Saying the gush lacked somewhat of the true gush.
Yeah, the superintendent knows deep down this is ridiculous, Tom. Reciting thousands of verses, it doesn't add up.
And meanwhile, poor Amy Lawrence, his old flame, is watching. First proud, then suspicious, then heartbroken as she realizes it's all fake.
The setup for humiliation is perfect. Tom gets introduced to the big shot, Judge Thatcher, Becky's dad, the ultimate authority figure.
And the judge lays it on thick, praising Tom, predicting great things, then asks the killer question, the absolute simplest test.
Won't you tell us the names of the first 2 disciples that were appointed?
Silence. Tom is just busted. Tongue-tied. I can't name them.
The whole illusion just collapses. It's not just Tom's fraud being exposed. It's the whole system that values showing off over actual knowledge or, faith.
Then the church service itself, another target. Tom gets strategically placed near the aisle, away from the window temptation.
While the minister drones on with this good, generous prayer that covers literally everyone and everything.
Tom's reaction is great. He's kept tally of the details before and gets annoyed at any new additions, calls them unfair and scoundrelly. Like the prayer is a contract being renegotiated badly.
He's just enduring the boredom. And his whole internal drama about catching the fly, thinking his soul is doomed if he moves before the amen, it shows how absurdly oppressive that enforced solemnity felt.
But natural impulse wins out eventually, doesn't it? He lets the pinch bug loose, the big black beetle.
Ah, the beetle. This is the peak of chaos. It lands in the aisle, and then the stray poodle wanders in looking bored.
Perfect timing.
The poodle starts playing with the beetle, gets tired of it, and then sat down on it.
That yelp. The dog goes flying up the aisle across the church.
She gets tossed out the window by its owner, and the sermon just stops dead. Complete dead standstill amid all this smothered, unholy mirth.
You can impose the rules, but you can't kill the impulse for chaos and fun.
Exactly. Nature finds a way.
The third institution under fire. The schoolhouse, especially examination evening. This feels like the final triumph of anarchy over the system.
Yeah, the master, Mr. Dobbins, is this tyrant, preparing for the big night by getting pretty well fuddled, as Twain puts it. Drunk.
And Twain uses the event to mock that whole sentimental, melodramatic style of the time, the essays the girls read.
Oh, the compositions by the young lady. They're hilariously over the top, flowery language, ending with these long, preachy sermons, titles like, Is This Then Life?
Or Missouri Maiden's Farewell to Alabama. It's the sheer artificiality he's mocking.
But Tom gets his revenge. The vengeance satisfied. He teams up with a sign painter's boy. They've got a plan involving a cat and a string.
Lowering it down from the attic above the sleeping drunk master.
Perfect timing again. The cat grabs the master's wig, revealing his perfectly bald and shiny head.
But that's not all, is it?
No, the sign painter's boy, the real genius here, had secretly gilded the master's bald head beforehand.
Painted it gold, a shiny golden skull revealed to the whole town.
The audience just scatters. Parents, kids, everyone. Total chaos. End of the school year. It's not just a prank, it's the complete symbolic destruction of that hollow authority.
So the message seems pretty clear. When institutions get too rigid, too hypocritical, something's got to give, usually in a hilarious, chaotic way.
Right. The human spirit, especially the mischievous kid part of it, will find a way to break through.
Okay, now things take a turn, don't they? A shift towards something deeper in Tom. We get youthful romance and maybe the first real signs of moral growth.
Yeah, the arrival of Becky Thatcher changed the game emotionally. Amy Lawrence is instantly forgotten. She becomes only a poor little evanescent partiality.
Tom is completely smitten. He starts showing off like crazy, doing absurd, dangerous stunts just to get her attention.
And it works. Pretty quickly, they get engaged. Tom handles it with maximum drama, of course, writing "I love you" on the slate.
Waiting for her to touch his hand to reveal it. Very theatrical. She accepts.
But then, boom, his past comes back to bite him. He casually mentions being engaged before, to Amy.
Oh, Tom. Rookie mistake.
Huge mistake. Becky is devastated, cries, realizes his big declaration wasn't unique to her, delivers that crushing line, "I'll never speak to you again."
And Tom's pride gets in the way. He can't bring himself to apologize right away. Then jealousy kicks in when she talks to Alfred Temple, the St. Louis smarty. Typical kid stuff, really volatile.
But the crisis point forces a real change in Tom. Becky gets into serious trouble. She sneaks a look at the master's forbidden book.
The anatomy book with the picture of the naked figure, very scandalous for the time, and she accidentally tears a page.
When Mr. Dobbin starts grilling the class, trying to find the culprit, Becky is terrified. "White with terror," Twain writes. Like a hunted and helpless rabbit. She knows this is bad.
And this is the moment, isn't it? The turning point for Tom.
It really feels like it. In that instant, Tom forgot his quarrel with her. All the pride, the jealousy, it just vanishes. He sees her distress.
And he acts, springs up and shouts, "I done it!"
Now, wait. Is this genuinely moral? Or is it just Tom performing again, but for a bigger prize, Becky's admiration?
That's a fair question, but I think the cost makes it different this time. It's not like trading for a marble. He knows he's in for it.
And he gets it. The most merciless slaying Dobbins had ever given out. He takes serious punishment.
But the reward isn't external. It's internal. Twain emphasizes the look in Becky's eyes. The surprise, the gratitude, the adoration, that, he says, was pay enough for 100 floggings.
Okay, yeah, that feeling, that connection, that seems to cement a real shift. He acted selflessly, for someone else's sake, and found a deeper kind of reward.
His capacity for something beyond self-interest has been tested, and, well, it won.
But no sooner has he reached this new level than, boom, the story throws him into the deep end. The adult world of crime, death, and real conscience.
And this starts with his friendship with Huck Finn, the ultimate outsider.
Huck is everything Tom and the other boys secretly admire. He's the juvenile pariah, hated by the mothers, envied by the kids. Why? Because he's completely free.
No rules, no school, no church, no master, lives by his own free will.
Their bond is built on that shared world of superstition, isn't it? Discussing how to cure warts with dead cats versus spunk water, talking about witches and backward prayers.
It feels like innocent kid stuff, but it sets a really eerie mood.
It does. And that mood is crucial for what happens next. They go to the graveyard at midnight with the dead cat for that wart cure. They're already spooked, thinking they hear ghosts or devils.
But what they actually see is much, much worse. Real human evil.
Chillingly real. Muff Potter, the town drunk, Injun Joe, the murderer and half-breed, and Dr. Robinson. They're robbing a grave. An argument breaks out.
And then, the murder. Injun Joe stabs the doctor with Muff Potter's knife. Potter's passed out drunk.
And Joe just cold-bloodedly puts the knife in Potter's hand to frame him. Muttering about settling a score, the boys see the whole thing. Hidden. Terrified.
They run for their lives and immediately make that pact, swear secrecy.
The solemn oath, written on a shingle with red keel, signed in blood from their thumbs. They even worry about using brass pins because of verdigris, which is poison.
It's this childish ritual trying to contain an adult horror. Their main motivation is just fear, right? Fear of Injun Joe.
Absolutely. They're convinced he'd kill them, just as dead sure as we're living if they ever told.
The injustice is sickening. Muff Potter gets arrested. He's described as haggard, timid, and hopeless. He actually believes Joe's story, thinks he must have done it while drunk.
And Joe gives this serene statement, cool as you please, framing Potter. The boys are watching, expecting, like, divine intervention, God's lightnings to strike him down.
But nothing happens, just the silence and their guilt.
This is where the conscience really starts to bite. It's physical. Tom can't sleep. His fearful secret and gnawing conscience disturbed his sleep for as much as a week.
And Sid the Observer reports Tom talking in his sleep. It's blood, that's what it is. Don't take him away. The guilt is literally spilling out.
Makes him spill his coffee at breakfast. His body is rejecting the lie, the secret.
But even terrified, they can't completely abandon Muff Potter. They sneak him tobacco and matches in jail.
It's that conflict again. They can't confess, but they can't fully live with the injustice either. They're trapped by their oath and their conscience.
This internal pressure, plus Becky still ignoring him, it pushes Tom over the edge, right?
Yeah.
Leading to the next big escape.
Yeah, running away to be pirates on Jackson's Island with Joe Harper and Huck. It's pure escapism.
They have fun at first, enjoy the freedom, but even there, morality creeps in. That debate about stealing food.
Right. Is taking hams and bacon plain stealing, which feels wrong? Or is it just hooking, like taking apples, which they rationalize as okay? Trying to draw lines even in their outlaw life.
The key part of this pirate adventure, though, is Tom sneaking back to town.
That secret trip back is pivotal. He overhears Aunt Polly, Mary, Mrs. Harper mourning them, thinking they've drowned.
And the grief is real. Aunt Polly weeping, blaming herself, realizing how much she loves Tom despite everything, regretting punishing him.
Tom's actually going to leave a note, wasn't he? We ain't dead. We're only off being pirates. Simple, direct.
But hearing them, it sparks another happy solution, as Twain calls it. Another performance.
He goes back to the island, waits, then shows up in Aunt Polly's and pretends he dreamed everything he overheard. The crying, the specific regrets she mentioned.
The wonderful dream. It's pure manipulation, but maybe kinder than just leaving a note, or just more dramatic.
Probably both. Aunt Polly completely buys it, thinks it's a prophesying spirit, total forgiveness, crushing embrace. Tom gets the sympathy and avoids the initial anger.
And the final act is pure theater. The boys walking into their own funeral service.
Marching right down the aisle. Astonishment, tears, joy, instant heroes. Tom turns grief into glory. He's mastered the art of the dramatic reveal.
But the real moral test, the big one, is still waiting. The trial.
Yeah, all the glory, all the performance, it doesn't erase the guilt about Muff Potter. That gnawing conscience finally wins.
He breaks the blood oath, takes the stand.
Points the finger at Injun Joe. Tells the truth. Exonerates Potter. It's a huge moment.
The courtroom erupts, and Injun Joe, he doesn't wait around, leaps out the window and vanishes.
So Tom is a hero now, officially. Saved an innocent man. But he's also terrified. Knows Injun Joe is out there wanting revenge. Nights filled with fear.
The story shifts again, doesn't it? Back to adventure, but with higher stakes. Treasure hunting.
Right. Tom and Huck, fueled by superstition again, start looking for buried treasure. Dead limb trees, midnight shadows worrying about witches interfering.
And this leads them to the old haunted house, where they find more than they bargained for.
Way more. They find Injun Joe, disguised as a deaf and dumb Spaniard, talking with an accomplice.
And they overhear terrifying stuff. Joe planning revenge on the widow Douglas, wanting to notch her ears like a sow. Vicious.
And critically, they hear about the treasure. Joe's swag, a bag with $650 in silver, which he plans to move to my den, number 2.
So the treasure hunt is suddenly very real and very, very dangerous. The man guarding it is a killer who knows Tom betrayed him.
The final act plays out in McDougal's cave. The picnic turns into a nightmare when Tom and Becky get lost.
Days lost in the dark. Terrifying. And then Tom sees him again. Injun Joe in the cave.
Just sees his hand holding a candle. Utter terror for Tom. But the cave echoes save him. Joe doesn't recognize his voice and moves on.
Tom eventually finds a way out for them. They're rescued. Huge relief. But then Judge Thatcher decides to seal the cave entrance.
Triple locks the door to prevent anyone else getting lost. A sensible precaution.
But Tom hears the news and goes white as a sheet. He knows.
He knows Injun Joe is still in there. His escape route became Joe's death sentence. The consequences are just absolute now. No take back.
They find Joe's body later, starved to death just inside the door. Twain describes it so grimly. Eating bats, catching drips of water, trying to cut through the door sill with his knife.
It's a brutal end.
Yeah.
And the irony is thick. Because right after that,
they go back, follow the clue number 2, the cross marked in smoke, and they find the treasure. Thousands of dollars in gold and silver.
Their greatest fear led directly to their greatest fortune.
Which brings us to the final point, Huck and civilization.
Yeah, the widow Douglas adopts Huck, tries to civilize him. Clean clothes, manners, school, church, the works.
And Huck just can't stand it, finds it physically painful. The shackles of civilization, he calls them, runs away to sleep in empty barrels.
He says wherever he turns, the bars and shackles shut him in and bound him hand and foot. It's this primal rejection of conformity. He needs freedom.
So Tom has to step in again, and how does he convince Huck to go back to the widow?
By reframing civilization as another game. He promises Huck they'll start a new gang, Tom Sawyer's gang of robbers, with initiations, blood oaths, the whole 9 yards. But Huck has to be respectable to join.
So conformity becomes the price of admission to organized adventure. It's the only way Huck can stomach it.
So Tom's journey feels complete in a way. From kid obsessed with marbles to a young man who's faced death, chosen justice over fear, and become wealthy.
He's matured, definitely faced real moral dilemmas. But that tension between Tom's structured adventure and Huck's pure rejection of rules, that's still there, isn't it?
Absolutely. They're rich now, famous, secure.
Which loops us all the way back to the beginning, doesn't it? Back to that great law Tom figured out with the fence.
Exactly. Remember the definition. Work consists of whatever a body is obliged to do, and that play consists of whatever a body is not obliged to do.
And the source material mentions something interesting here. That Tom, now rich, found his vacation beginning to hang a little heavily on his hands. Boredom setting in.
That's the final question Twain leaves us chewing on, isn't it? Tom and Huck have bought their way out of obligation. They're gentlemen now. But if play only gets its kick from not being obliged, what happens to their games now?
Right. If they don't have to do anything, and they're supposed to be respectable, not pirates or robbers, what's left to make difficult? What's left to covet? Does wealth kill the very thing that made their adventures meaningful?
What happens to work and play when you remove the friction? That's something to think about.